let's look at the levels that exist right now. So we have this level here, which is a previous swing, which happens to line up with 30. So we know 30 is very interesting. It's going to try to come down and retest 30. That from a technical standpoint. Yes? Yes, it will. Trust me, it will. It's going to try. And it's pretty much, if you think about it, it's, you know, if you go from 15 to 60, you know, or somewhere in that range, or from, let's say, the 20s here. Let's look at, like, here we are, like here, the 20s here to 60. The 50% retracement just happens to be 30. So it's going to try to retest here. My opinion is I don't think it's going to, but we'll see. And as it comes down here, off of here, that gave us an opportunity to trade up. IWM was the easiest lift because it was inexpensive. So we did a call-vert on IWM. And I took some puts on the VIX as this retest would happen. So both of those profitable. Those are the only trades I had on because we already cleared the decks prior to that. So that's what I'm looking for right now in the VIX. Are we going to come down and retest this level? Do we get here? If we don't get there and it reverses back up, then you could look at the markets rolling back over. That's, you know, setup A. So setup A, you know, would be that the VIX comes down, finds support, but investors aren't buying this for a minute. It was definitely overbought. VIX got overbought, pulling back. The markets got oversold, so they're going to get a bounce. They got the bounce, and then the VIX heads higher again, back up towards 40, 50. If that happens, we roll over, and then we should be looking at, say, maybe 2 weeks out. I would say 2 weeks out, we'll go with some shorts. And we can decide what, you know, we want to do, what we want to trade. But pretty much lean into kind of the same kinds of trades. There's no reason to get crazy and to try to pick and choose the best stocks. To just stick with the SPY and IWM for now. You could do SQQQ if you wanted to trade, you know, a market direction and not have to spend the money on the Qs because it's very expensive. But you know, you're gonna want to think about some bearish trades over the next, say, two weeks or so. That's scenario A. Scenario B is that if the VIX drops and breaks 30 and keeps going, and then as it comes back up to retest 30, it can't get above it, and it starts heading back towards 23, well, then scenario B is that we're going to look for some longs again. We could go JP Morgan, we could go into the semiconductors like NVIDIA, and maybe pick an Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, one of those big boys. Maybe some SPY if it's not too expensive, right? Deja vu, right? And when that, yeah, we're going to look at the levels, Jim, in a second. All right. Yeah, my VIX put was profitable, but it is not profitable now. Well, it's not that I picked the big caps. I'm going to probably, you know, if I wanted to, the best way, Husker fan, to do it is pick SPY or IWM. Either SPY, IWM, or SQQQ is a cheap way of doing it. SQQ puts all this way, right? If we're looking for longs. And if you wanted to add some heft to your trade, pick an industry, semiconductors, banks, or megas. So what I like to do is, what I've done before is, pick one of these, maybe a semi, a bank, and a mega. So this gives me some exposure to a few things. But if you're brand new and you have low allocation, you're just going to pick one of these. And then maybe an ad could be one of these. I'm just giving you some options here to choose from. No, I didn't close my VIX. I sold some of it when it was profitable, but I didn't close it yet. Usually I sell enough of it. When I trade the VIX, as many of you know, I will, if I get over 100% profit at some point on a jump, I'll take half of the trade off with some profit, maybe like 120%. So I have some profit, and then I ride the other half for free. If I get a nice move in the VIX based on potentially it hitting support or resistance, and maybe it's going to turn the other way, and I'll take off 2/3 of it. So that gives me a profit. So I don't care what happens to the other third, but I'll hold the other third. I did that with IWM. I took off 2/3 of my IWM yesterday at a really, really nice profit. My average cost of IWM yesterday was 195. So at 195, when I sold it at 320, I had made about a 65% profit, but I took off 2/3 of it. Close to, seemed like it was almost 70%. I think it said 68, 69%. But then I took off 2/3 of my position at nearly 70%. And that's all I have. Like, I'm just really low in my portfolio. Take a quick look at the dollar. As the dollar and the VIX finally do what I told you they were going to do. If you guys remember, we'll just look at the dollar, then we'll look at the yields, then we'll look at the SPY, then we're going to look at them all together, okay? Michael, this is the most we've had in the room on a Tuesday morning in a while. Do you notice? So what I've been calling out on the dollar is that the dollar would finally start to strengthen. It didn't. That it would strengthen. It didn't. That it would strengthen. Well, it started to, and then it hit resistance. And then investors around the world said, poo-poo, the U.S. economy sucks. So let's dump our dollar, so which they did. But we're starting to get it again. Woo-hoo. So if this happens and this happens, it's very possible that we start getting some pullbacks eventually in gold. Now, I will tell you, the interesting thing about gold is that I think we're at a point that if the markets roll over big time again, gold is going to go down with it. And silver, our whole market will go down because, overseas investors are going to dump. If the dollar screams higher, then that could put pressure on commodities and bring commodities down a little bit, which would be good for our economy, but not good for people who want to buy commodities. And so gold should come down anyway. So gold, we're going to get to that in a minute. Gold could be. Can we get these charts from you? What charts are you talking about, Babalu? Anyway, let's just see if the dollar can, as it hits this resistance point, every time it got to the 20, it dropped. 20, it dropped. 20, it dropped. What's going to happen here? We don't know. Like to see if the dollar can get above this level. That would be a good trigger potentially to take some trades that are dollar sensitive. Let's look at yields. Here was moving higher. Yeah, these are just my basic charts, Babalu. You don't need my charts. These are just basic charts. I can't post these because not everybody has CTV. And some of these indicators are from CTV, like this, like this, like this. I did a whole session the other day about how to build your charts from scratch. I spent about 15 minutes and I built the entire workspace from scratch. Did you not see that one? Yields moving up. Interesting. To the kind of healthy zone, which is like this is where you want yields to be, 4.2 and a quarter to 4.3-ish. Yeah, Michael might know. Michael, do you know when I did that, or Cheryl, when I went over exactly how to build the charts from scratch? I mean, you've been around long enough, you know how to do it. It's in the basic options course. But you're not going to have all these indicators if you don't have convert the vert, then these will error out. Plus I've got the earnings indicator here. So I don't share this workspace because it's not something that, yeah, the best thing to do is to take a screenshot and just build it on your own. So yields up into a nice spot here. But if you remember what I said about a true recovery, you would need to have certain things be present. And one of the things that I said needs to be happening is you need to see yields and the dollar move up together. Let's do hourly, right? Here's hourly. Even though this one's delayed a little bit, but you kind of get the idea over the last few days. See the dollar and see yields moving together. That's positive. That's something. But you got to have the VIX, obviously below 30, which it ain't. And there goes the VIX back up again. So remember what I said. VIX is going to come down and try to retest 30. May not get there. It may do that. It may pierce 30 and then not do it and then do that. Who knows? We'll see. This could be it. What you got today in the little bit of the movement of this buy might be it. In fact, let's do this. Let's change these to 195 charts. That one already is. So 195 is like a half a day. It's exactly half a day. We'll do that for these, but we'll leave SPY so I can read SPY with y'all and see what levels we want to look at. But you look, you can see the dollar coming back up alive here last couple days, right? And yields coming back up. But the almighty VIX, this is the chart to be looking at. Right here. All right, SPY, let's see what you got. Let's go to 60 minutes first. So you can see this gap here, boom, boom, gap filled and broke through. That's positive. This could just be a pullback, so you want to see if it holds. So it's pretty significant level. Quick peek here on futures, because futures shows the overnight and such. So before you could even consider getting any long trades, you got to get above this because that's an investor level. Here's the holy shit candle right here. Here's the holy shit candle. And now it's above 5,300. So let's look right there. The high is 53.95. Right there. 53.95 right here. See how things absolutely like right there? You got that. You got this, which is probably 52 something something. And then you got the 100 period coming right down into here, right at 53.01. So this is important to watch. So if you wanted, just so that you know, if you needed a check as to, well, how do I know when I should think about putting long trades on? Pull this up, the hourly ES. And you can see right here, right here. Oops. It's a little lower. Oh, come on. Right here. Right here. This gap fill right here. You can draw a line there. Who needs Fibonacci when you got this? See the oh, holy shit candle right here? It is a technical term. And I guess you got this level down here. Right? You could just literally do that. And what happens is each level opens the door to the next one. So if you break this, it opens the door to this. If you break this, that's a pretty good indication that you could take a trade this way. If you break this, it opens the door to this. And if you can get a close above this, then that opens the door for us to move back up. Right now, it's, I don't know. So this is one way to look at ES. Okay, let's go back to SPY and do something similar with SPY so we can kind of get a sense as to what that might look like. So 5, yeah. Here's the top of the gap fill. That's about 50 something, 505-ish. Low is 50506, close enough. 505, that's right here. So if you break that to the downside, right, that obviously opens the door, to 500, the next level, which would be 500. Right, 505 opens the door to 500. And breaking that, obviously you start going in the fours. On the other way, if you break 505, then obviously that opens the door to this, which is probably 510. And then you got 515 and 512. Like, that's always how it seems to work. So how do I know? Well, where do I go to confirm whether what is it, 510, 15, 25, 30, da, 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 da. Well, you don't really know until you come over here and you take a look at today. All you got right now is today to see where is the majority of the action. On the put side, it's 510. See it? 515, 510. 510's a pretty big number. On the call side, well, there's a lot at 530 for today. That's insane. But that's so far out of the money. I don't think the market maker is worried about that. pretty good bet to leave it alone.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.